Why doesn't the sun go to college?
Why, Jared?
Because it has 1,000,000 degrees. This is how we do things now, everybody.
Ah, smash it.
Here at the glass table, we're just like
I
you.
like to play football, I like to watch football, and I like to talk about football.
Yay! I like to play football and I like to watch football and I like to talk about football.
But we do things a little bit differently around here.
Life could be a dream, Jared.
Stupid sexy.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
Now, try and sing these words in KSI's The Thick of It. It doesn't really rhyme, but just hear me out. So, from the injuries to the community series, it's time to open the gates to opening round. It's been a few fantasy draft picks that people have found. So no matter what, at the end of the day, let's kick things off because we are footy bound.
just poetic is what that is.
Hello, everyone.
Absolutely
Welcome to
poetic.
the glass table. We're back. And as usual, I have the stupid sexy co-host of mine, Travis. But no, I'm just kidding. It's Jared Thomas.
Hello, I'm here with super sexy host Anthony, and we're having fun today. It is the first proper episode. Obviously, for those that have been tagging along, we've had some videos, we've had some bold predictions, we've had some little things here and there, and we're here back finally for proper episode. Bit of a new format and things like that, or new format, but same kind of stuff. And yeah, having a look, I just realized I have a scratch on my nose, and I don't know if you can see that, and I don't know where that has come from, and that is going to annoy me for the rest of this recording.
I don't know about you, but you can keep checking that out. You can come closer and closer if you like. You look at the scratch, I look at your eyes. Anyway, yes, we are back. New format, new day, Tuesdays now, which is kind of the equivalent of us sitting here going, we don't really know what to say from the weekend or for the next week. So we'll just park it in the middle and hope for the best. There's been a few different things that are obviously changing the guard, a few time frames, a few different jobs and everything. And yeah, I've had a pretty full-on off-season. Jared has have the other 18 teams. So, how you been?
I've been good. Obviously, like you said, it's been full on, plenty happening, plenty just to be rolling on through. Obviously, we're now into March, and footy is back sooner than ever. Also, we thought. We don't know if it is back. We don't know if it is back sooner than ever. But it genuinely feels like footy starts earlier and earlier every time. There is every opportunity that in the next we keep tracking the way we're going. February footy is the real deal. February footy is like you can get knocked out of finals by the time February ends. That's how we're headed. Like we're headed for your season's over by the end of summer kind of deal. So very dangerous territory.
Yeah, well, ours is pretty much the same as it has been for the last 12 years, and the equivalent of bipolar, really, is basically how I call it. The autism of football is Port Adelaide. So we're here for it. I tell you what. Right, I want to talk about how things have sort of ignited for the opening round. You know, we all chimed in with community series shit and everything of the sort, and bold predictions and everything like that. If you told me in the space of 7 days that the AFL season would be potentially delayed because of a cyclone and John Cena was turning heel, I don't think I'd be in a realm of life that is a possibility for me.
One of the most bizarre weeks in the history of the world, I think. Hell froze over yesterday. I've never seen a universal
this shit made the news.
Universal state of people that haven't watched wrestling in 15 years were like, no way. They were like, what are you doing? It's just bizarre. like the closest thing I can think of is obviously the punk return a couple of years ago, and that was big. Like that was big, right?
Or the streak ending.
This is yeah. That's the closest I have to like just pure what is happening. And I'm in shock, to be honest, but it's amazing. We have had many discussions now about this is the most incredible thing in the world, and and then obviously back home sort of way, we've got a cyclone threatening to disrupt the first game of the year, which we were talking about before, and we'll do our tips and stuff for it. But I reckon by this time tomorrow, not even by this time tomorrow, by halfway through tomorrow, I reckon there is a AFL statement being like, no game, not happening, call it. So bizarre, just a bizarre thing to be happening all around.
A lot of shit happening at the moment. A lot of weird shit. Also, just like for people that don't understand wrestling, and we talk about John Cena, people see him as the actor, or we announce him as our stupid sexy person of the year because he was retiring. And boy, I reckon he's going to get another go again this year. Because let me tell you, he's a late bloomer. The equivalent of how I could describe it in AFL terms would be Travis Boak going to the Crows.
That is a fantastic, and this year as well. Like this year or like next, it would be like if at the end of this year, Travis Boak, instead of announcing his retirement, was like, "I'm joining the Adelaide Crows on a 1-year deal." Like that is what that is, and it's bizarre. It is a bizarre thing to experience. For those that obviously aren't aware, obviously John Cena's kind of transcended everything. He's like The Rock, everyone knows who he is for that. It's so much more shocking than anything else because he is world renowned and has been very famous, and he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most Make-A-Wish wishes granted in the history of the world. And no one's even close. Like no one's even a close second. He is miles and miles ahead. And so you think of that, right? This guy that is a hero and an idol to kids worldwide. And he has just gone on TV and kicked the current world champion in the nuts and then choked him in the ring for 10 minutes.
I don't know how else I could describe it in footy terms.
It's not much. Like I'm trying to think of the most like loyal servant of a football club, and it's just
like we've seen teams play. Well, with footy terms, it depends which side you're on, realistically. But with like footy terms, it's a bit more difficult because you can't really throw an Alex Fasolo going from Collingwood to Carlton in the mix because that's like Carmelo Hayes sort of switching.
Who cared?
Doesn't really matter. I guess, like, if you want to put it, like maybe Eddie Maguire becoming the president of Carlton.
That's a good one, actually. It's not a bad one at all.
Like, I don't know. I'll give you a Perth one. Maybe Matthew Pavlich playing for West Coast. Matthew Prittis not winning a Brownlow. It's like those kinds of things that just all the balance in the world. But hey, it was pretty fucking cool.
It was incredible. It was amazing. And it's going to be talked about forever. And it automatically makes WWE interesting, like to people that weren't watching it before. So fantastic.
Before we get into the Cyclone business and everything like that, because they're really good ice cream and everything. And I think we should dive in more about it. I think like before we dive into the year, I think, we're all about the stupid sexiness here. And I think we talked about change of format. Bring it forward in the show a little bit so people aren't waiting an hour. I know they get to look at us too for an hour or so, but right at the end, you sort of expose our loads a little bit before we get into the stupid sexy. Oh, not like that.
What phrasing?
I knew exactly what I was doing there. It's all right. So we kind of figured we'll produce a stupid sexy of the summer.
Stupid sexy
AFL player.
So, is there anything or anyone that's really caught your eye that's tearing it up on the off-season tracks?
Something that immediately springs to mind in terms of the tearing it up on the off-season tracks. Now, we may have the same one here, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Mine is a thing. Mine is not a person. Mine is a thing that I've seen.
Yeah.
And it is now over the off season. Obviously, there's been like you always get all the new merch items, the new everything for all the teams and everything like that. And there's new jumpers, of course, going around. New looks for jumpers, new designs, new everything like that. And the one that I have my mind on, and it's mainly also because they were on last night, as of recording this, and
Whoa.
the Melbourne Football Club.
Okay, we have a different one.
That's good. The Melbourne Football Club have brought back the flame head, as they call it, the red flame head.
The matchstick.
The jumper they wore last night. Not only does that look incredible and the design look incredible, they also have the old school logo in the corner. And man, that one touch alone extends it beyond anything that I've known, and it is it's good. It's very good, and I loved it.
You know that little collection of Guernseys you've got going could be something.
A great addition. I literally had that thought last night. I was like, man, that could be a good one to add.
I love it. I think it's great. Love the logo. The VFL logo.
Yeah.
Hot.
Gorgeous. And that is the stupid sexy thing that I've seen this offseason. I looked at that last night and I went, whoa, that's really good.
It took you right up to the night before recording to really pick something that stood out.
It's just, I remember when they first said they were wearing, and I remember they were wearing the training jumpers and stuff. I was like, man, that looks so good. And then I saw when they announced they're going to wear it on Sunday. I was like, oh, it's like, yeah, so good.
Mine's also a kit.
Beautiful.
And, it's not so much retro, it's more of a vibe. And we sort of did something on their potential kit for the gather round to come out, and it didn't end up being, the colours were pretty much the opposite. The Gold Coast Suns salmon kit. What tipped me over the edge with this was not only the beautiful colour, not only the matching shorts, not only Took Miller being in the photo, and the pink Barbie house that they painted and everything like that, which was really funny, was the fact that Took Miller's socks were up. And you want to really put a final nail in the coffin of what this is a superb gather round kit. I still see people posting it now saying, just make it the full-time kit. Yeah,
I literally saw the one after they played their practice game where everyone was like, this home jumper is the worst home jumper in the world. People are like, just make it the pink one. Like the pink one is the one now, and it should be.
Just rebrand to the Gold Coast Salmons and just full pink.
Oh, it's so good.
Also, Sydney, it's not stupid sexy. It might be stupid ugly. They're wearing black shorts with the white. What are you going to town?
Bad, really bad. Did not like it at all.
I just wear white Nike shoes and put some Vans on and walk out in the park, mate.
Bad. Not good. Not good at all.
Been a lot of jumpers and everything announced for the Ear Crows, new logo and everything like that. We've sort of all covered throughout the time. But it means that fresh faces, fresh people, fresh logos, fresh Guernseys, fresh rivalries, which means opening round is here, Jared. And as we said before, the Cyclone, it's not the ice cream. Just want to give you a bit of I'll give you a numbers game. So when I say 20 to 100, 8 to 45, 20 to 80, am I talking percentages or millimeters of rain?
I was going to say some really bad football scores.
Good God, that'd all be Richmond too, wouldn't they?
Yes. But unfortunately, I know that you are talking about millimeters of rain. And
this thing's going to get flooded. The Gabba can't last with light. This thing's not surviving a flood.
The Gabba shouldn't even exist right now. It should have been knocked down by now.
It's gonna be.
I don't know what. Literally, this might be the end of it. I don't know.
The Gabba's gone.
I don't know what the AFL is thinking here. I literally read a thing right before we came onto here about how Brisbane players and staff and everything like that are sandbagging their houses right now And I'm like, how is this proper preparation for a game when you can't even go to training because you've had to sandbag your head? Like, just call it. Call it, man. Be done with it.
I look at the logistics of it and I'm like, you can call this straight away and say, right, we're not going to postpone it. Get onto it within 24 hours. You can lock it in, play it on Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
2 to 35 mil. It's just showers. You can play in the rain. There's no wind.
You either play it on the Sunday afternoon or move it back to the round 3 where they both got the bye. You can play it that week.
Well, this is the other thing. Because you can move on the Sunday and then the Gold Coast Essendon who have different buys. By the way, stupid fixturing if you're not registering the teams that you're playing against on the same bye weekend.
Yeah, stupid. Ridiculous.
The Gold Coast have slightly different sort of look in terms of percentage of rain. So they look really good on Thursday. They're only 10 to 80 mil, right?
Only. Only. No worries.
Then I'll give you a Friday. So they don't have a cyclone possible on the Friday, whereas Brisbane do, you know? So they're only windy with heavy rain at 25 to 130 mil. So it's, you know, it's not that bad. You get to Saturday when they're registered to play. There's no wind, like 25 to 40 kilometres. It's a
breeze.
That's all right. It's decreasing throughout the day. You know, it's fine. 25 to 110 mil of rain might be a bit of a problem, but, you know. Now we were playing COVID earlier and like the scores were like 15 to 30. Yeah. Are boots like waterproof these days?
You would hope so. They're going to be swimming through Queensland on
Water polo.
Saturday. Yeah, quite literally. Ridiculous. It is the universe's way of telling the AFL that we don't want footy this early by basically saying, unless you are Noah and you've got that arc, we're not playing football on this weekend.
You know who needs an arc? It is a Noah. It needs a redemption arc is Noah Bolter. Just thought that then. That was really cool.
That was pretty good.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. Footy gods clashing with the weather gods. And the weather gods are telling you should just start it with Richmond Carlton.
Be normal.
Week after.
Yeah.
Play it on a standard mid-weekend in March, you know. You're not the NRL. Like, no one wants to watch a game at the Gabba on a Thursday night to kick your season off.
No, like that's just not football, you know? It's not football. Football is starting and ending the year at the MCG. That is what football is. Nice.
I thought you meant round 23 then. I was like, I don't think it's possible.
No. Starting a new year at the MCG. The ones that don't have that are weird.
Other than that, though, are you excited?
I am excited for what we're back, to be fair. I was saying, I've been saying this over like the summer, but I'm more excited this year because like last year I was so removed from it that I'm like, I didn't really like, all of a sudden footy just started and I was like, oh shit, footy's on. Whereas this time I'm like, I want football.
You know what's funny about you is, without saying too much, you were so far from it at the start of last year. It's not even funny. And you start this year so deep inside of it. If you quoted that out of context, it's really just...
Yeah, absolutely. But it's good, though. It's very accurate.
That's what they all say after it's done, too.
That's the wrong time to drink water.
Swallow it.
Yeah, I knew that was the next thing that you were going to say.
How's your scratch on your nose going?
Don't know.
Yeah, that's very seductionized. Anyway, so what we plan to do for this episode, and it's not glossing over John Cena turning heel or a cyclone that's going to ruin our opening round, which, it's so terrible that opening round's getting ruined. No. We're going to give some predictions. We've done bold predictions. Go check that out. Also done predicting the top 10 players video if you wanted to see that. 2, which at the moment looks very, very shit,
I was just
considering.
about to say, from all the players we picked, fucking half of them are injured, so that's fun.
Just going to go back and have a look at them very quickly. Just letting you know that we're not looking great, are we?
I'm trying to think. There's Bonds on there, injured. Butters on there, injured. Marshall's on there, injured. Kerno's kind of injured. There's at least 4.
Marshall starting off, yeah, in a bit of a situation. Marcus Bontempelli, Butters. Strike rate's very good. But no, we're obviously going to give some normal predictions, and it's the Premier's Brownlow medalist, Wooden Spoon, and a rising star. Now, I think you should go first for all 4, simply because people know majority of mine already.
That's fair. You have made the predictions video for those that haven't seen it. I'll do this action, and Ant can put it here.
I'm not going to get it that far, I don't think.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to point. Well, I'm going to point this way, I think. If that works well.
Just go onto the channel.
Where the related videos are, and I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
That'll be at the end too.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, no, that is obviously okay. And I suppose we should start with the big one.
Yeah, give me your wooden spoon.
We'll start with the wooden spoon. Wooden spoon works.
Yeah, let's do things differently.
Okay, we'll start with the wooden spoon. For those who watched the bowl predictions video, this is me going back on. It's me going back on it, right? Because when we made that bowl predictions video, the practice matches hadn't occurred yet.
You're picking St Kilda.
I'm thinking about it. No. But the two practice matches that this team had were both really bad and made me go, maybe I was wrong in my bold predictions. And I'm not gonna try and be all fancy with it. I have to go with them. It has to be the Richmond Tigers. Because firstly, they got smashed by West Coast in that first one.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even look close against Collingwood. So yeah, it's going to be Richmond for me. They're already missing Lawler. I just saw today that Josh Smiley is out for hamstrings as well. So he's out, whatever it is, it's out until round 3 or 4.
Smiley, yeah.
Which was their two, their 2 good ones. So they're going to be wooden spoon. There's no, I can't defend it anymore.
I'm not even going to dance around the fact. If you watch the prediction video, you know I picked them for the spoon. So yeah, the Tigers for me. The Spoons. The Spoons. Spoon-fed the Tigers. That's terrible. Anyway, who's your rising star?
My rising star. This is an interesting one because
they keep falling.
I was going to say, again, we've seen so much happen once again. That has hurt everything. Obviously, Jagger Smith out with an ACL, which is just horrible. And like that sucks a lot. Obviously,
I agree.
Lawler's out as well. Smiley's out as well. Again, just fucking injuries after injuries, which is no good. So
I mean, just before you get into it, just on the Richmond injury thing, right? You tell me like the couple of players. They picked 16 players. They're like the percentages work out, Jared. Like they are going to get
actually okay. To be honest, they didn't actually get that many.
They've still got 38 other players they can pick from. 36 of them came from the draft. The other 2 are Hopper and actually, never mind. They run the physio. To be honest, Hopper and Taranto.
They love it in there. They absolutely love the massage table. But no, they're going to finish with the wooden spoon, and it's fine. It is what it is. But my rising star, because now it's like an interesting sort of thing, and I bar the news that obviously just happened, I would have said Smiley, but I'm going to go a different way, and I'm going to go to the D's. Talking about the D's a lot this one, which is weird. And
right, D's nuts.
Clearly, but ahead of the draft. Ahead of the draft, I liked this guy. And looking at some footage and stuff from Melbourne training and different things, I really, really like him. And it is Harvey Langford. This man is built like an absolute brick shithouse. And I think he is perfectly suited to this Melbourne team. I hope he gets some early minutes. And I just think I think he's going to be the rising star. I think he's really, really good. And I think he's going to be really good. And I think the Demons got a very good pick at pick 6. And yeah, Harvey Langford is my man for the rising star.
Yeah, in the bold predictions, I predicted Joe Berry. Well, in these predictions, I'm predicting Joe Barry.
Fair enough.
A bit of biasness, sure, but it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
These injuries and everything. In my honest to God, I would have gone straight for. I would have gone for Jagger Smith. I think he would have collected it up nicely, and Carlton have a good development system with these young players. Like Sam Walsh, when he came through, was very, very good. Even while Patrick Cripps has turned out to be a star, so I think he would have developed well. So it's unfortunate, and he would have been my pick. But I think with the unpredictability of it, the unpredictability of Melbourne's season, and whilst I love the Harvey Lane computer, I think it's great. There's so much unpredictability with teams this year that I think we'll just have something a bit out of the box. And the way Joe Barry moved on Saturday was just an indication of the thing that there was a run of play where he went from half back to half forward, and I'm sitting there going, I don't think I've seen any of our players do that ever.
He's the first to ever do it.
Like, I've seen Butters burst from the pack, couple of handballs, kick it long inside 50, run 50, 60 metres and look fantastic. But this kid's gone. Bang, bang, bang. Ended up with it inside 50 and just about, I think he hit a target actually, Lukosius. Yeah, he did, because then Lukosius fucked it.
Yep.
Which always is the case anyway. But yeah, Joe Barry's very good.
He is very good. a couple of good Joes on the weekend for Port. Joe Richards kicked the first one, and then he kicked another one not too long after, I think, or something like that.
Might be the recruit of the year.
Oh, here we go.
Imagine that comes out round one against the Pies. Houston has 20, a couple of marks, plays an okay game. We've all seen it before. Joe Richards comes out, kicks 5, has 15. Tears into shreds. We win by 45, and the Pies fans go home after being hyped up like, I don't know, air balloons.
Do I think that?
Do I think that happens? No,
but maybe.
I believe in Joe Barry. Anyway, who's your premier?
My premier. Look, I reckon the last 3 years I've done predictions, I've managed to do this. I always just pick the team that won it the year before because I always think that they're just going to be a dynasty. And I'm doing it again because I just really like Brisbane. And I think Brisbane are going to be very good again. I know they don't really have like a key forward target. And man, Eric Hipwood being the number one key forward on a premiership team doesn't really suit my fancy. But I still think their midfield is incredible. I think their backline is incredible. I think their small forwards are really, really good. And Hipwood will be fine. So I think the Lions are going to win the flag and go back to back.
See, I predicted the Lions too. And I kind of figured that they would have that. They might get another Ashcroft in. They look really good. I think their tool stocks are not that bad. I think it's Sharp that's up. No, he went to the D. Who's the young kid? Obviously Morris is down there, but there's another one that's going to come into play, I think, and he'll develop nicely. But if I'm not to pick Brisbane, and I'm settling on Brisbane, but if I wasn't to pick Brisbane, I think an outsider would be Freo.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
But
watching them yesterday, they looked really good. Josh Tracy looks like he's about to tear this leg apart, which is very scary. If Jai Amos can figure out how to kick, that'll be a very, very scary forward duo.
Right in his name, isn't it?
It's right there. Just figure it out, man.
Jai missed again.
But like Luke Jackson's incredible. Andy Brayshaw looks like he's gonna be really good. I've been a not a hater of Andy Brayshaw. I've been a skeptic of Andy Brayshaw, but I've also been on the other end of that. I've been a Caleb Sarong enthusiast. So I'm sort of on either end of the spectrum with those two. But I think if they're both really good, if Fife can do anything sort of what he used to do for like a game, that'd be nice. And then their backline's pretty good. Jordan Clark's really good. And yeah, I think Freo is definitely a chance.
Most boring backline in the comp.
Boring, but effective.
Brownlow is the last thing. I'll just run a segue through there because you did mention Caleb Sarong, and he was in my predictions video. So Caleb's wrong.
Yeah, fair enough.
Who's yours?
I'm going with our decided number one player in 2025, and that's Nick Dacos. There was a slight scare in there about a plantar fascia thing, but then he went out and
It's a myth.
he's just fucking dominated. So I think that's gonna be,
What's even a plantar fasciitis? Like,
no.
Look, for you injury prone, injury enthusiasts, people that know your injuries and listening at home, you're going to comment, oh, plantar fasciitis is this. I know what it is.
Just leave it alone.
But like, it's like getting pins and needles.
Goes
you can
away
play
after a
through it.
while.
Stop being a pussy. Nah, I'm kidding. It's really painful. He's going to be a gun. I think one of those things that you just look at and go, right, another year of Nick Dacos. You have Josh by his side. They'll have a fit to go in a couple of weeks. They've got Perryman, who looks great, I think.
Yep, good role.
Very hard to judge the Pies in general with their performance against Richmond. I mean, kicking, 24 goals, 1 or something.
That was ridiculous. That was actually ridiculous.
Any wind at Icon Park?
Clearly not that day.
They had the fans turned off.
And the first behind they kicked was like rushed. It was like not even like an actual. But like you knew that they were you knew that they were lucky when Darcy Cameron line went up from 52 and just dotted it middle over the goal umpire's head. Like didn't even flinch. I was like, okay, clearly they're just fluking these because there's no way that's happening. So respect to them anyway, because very good. And I think they will be very good. And I think Nick Dacos is going to be very good. And I think it's going to be the first of quite a few Brownlows for that man.
Say our man.
I said that man.
Oh, he said our man. It's like I picked him on the list, but he wouldn't call him my man is beautiful. You know, I thought about it today, and I'll be honest with everyone. I'm an honest human being. Half a thought in my brain today was like, imagine I have to record a podcast like the day of or the day after Boak retires. I think this might be the saddest moment in our podcast history. I'd have to edit the shit out of that.
It'd be a tough day. It'd be a lot of breaks.
It's been a long day. We won't have to think about that now, though.
No.
So, everything that's obviously come, we've had a pretty good show so far, which means we get into the tips for our opening round. And just before we dive into our tips for the year, for opening round, we're doing a tipping comp this year. We thought we'd get everyone involved. There's going to be prizes that will be announced probably by the beginning of round 1. I think we owe that to everyone. Otherwise, sitting here and no one puts their tips in by round 2 and be like, yeah, fair, to be honest. But no, we're going to do tipping comp this year. We'll announce, the best tippers of the week and stuff like that. You'll get your name mentioned. A bit more of an inclusive community, and you can join in on trying to. I don't really want to say the line "trying to beat us," but I'm going to have to say it. So put your tips in.
Put your tips in and beat us, everybody. That's what we like to say. That's our slogan. Put your tips in and get beaten us. Why don't you? Off you go.
Stay stupid sexy as well. I sometimes really got to think about the things we say.
Well, it's fine.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, join the comp. We'll put the link in the description. We'll share it one more time this week before opening round kicks off. And
had some very good numbers, so thank you to everybody that has joined so far.
35. If we could, I mean, we set out the mark. This maybe have 20, 25.
Yeah, we were like, if we have 20, that'd be good.
20 would be pretty good. That's a good inclusive audience. I got 35 in it, which is awesome. Get it to 50. I tell you what, you wouldn't be tuning in every week.
Go time, everybody.
If I sit here and see someone gets 9 out of 9 with a 0 margin, I will personally DM you and say, well done.
Want to come on the show and tell us how you did it?
Yeah, got any tips? I see what I did there.
That's why I thought you said.
No, I did. So opening round this week.
Yep.
Might as well get into it, eh? This is the nitty-gritty stuff. Now, we're going to put a disclosure right here. Just a little exclamation. I don't know how to edit that far away. Anyway, just a little at the bottom. if the games are played, if
at least that one is played, I'm going to assume they're going to play Gold Coast anyway. But that first one is an if.
Brisbane Geelong unveiling the flag, which I think might end up down the fucking highway anyway if they unveil.
God damn.
Could you imagine 2024 Premiership flag is just floating down the Gold Coast Highway all the way down? It's like a little omen for the year, and it's just very interesting. Flies past, the winds carry it through Sydney just to brag, and it's flying over the fucking bridge just to, yeah. And then it heads down to Victoria just to be like, well, guess what? You guys couldn't even make a grand final all year, so like, yeah. And then it floats past Port, and it's like, can you never see one again? And then it does a lap right past the Western States. Doesn't have to stop there because it's they won't see one for a while. I've never seen it. They'll be like, "What's that thing?"
Yeah.
What kind of weird UFO is that? Flows around. Luke Jackson's like, "Oh, I want that, but a different color." So he'll then end up going back to Melbourne, right? And then we'll come back to Brisbane after the Cyclone's done, and we'll play in round 3. That should have been the final spray.
Which is another thing.
Yeah, you'll find out in a second. Anyway, Brisbane Geelong.
Brisbane Geelong. Again, this is an if the game goes and if the game occurs. And I think no matter what round we're playing this in, whether it is opening round, whether it is round 3, whether it is the Sunday of the opening round, whatever the case may be, I think the Brisbane Lions are going to do it. Geelong seem to build into seasons, and I always make the joke that once it hits sort of like the middle part of the year when no one really likes footy, or like you like footy, but like it's sort of like just becomes part of your routine. You don't have to watch every game. That is when Geelong do their best work because they play their fucking 4:45 games at Kardinia Park and they play like Gold Coast and like whatever, and they just beat everybody and they win. Like all of a sudden, you're like, oh man, Geelong haven't had that good of a year, and then you look at their record and they're like 14-4, and you're like, huh? Did that happen? So I think Geelong kind of start the season's not as well anymore. I think Brisbane's going to win. Are we doing margins for this one?
Yep.
Brisbane by 16 points.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm tipping the Lions as well by 21 points. Think they won't have a hangover this year. They're going to be very strong. And hence the reason we're tipping them for the flag.
Yeah.
The next one's obviously Sydney Hawthorn at the SCG. This one will be a little less rain affected. So who are you tipping for that?
This one I think is the most interesting.
Yes, agreed.
A lot because it's going to say a lot of things. It's going to say, did Hawthorn fluke last year or are they actually good? It's going to say, is Sydney going to collapse after last year? And I tend to think it's going to be the second one. I think Sydney's going to collapse. I think Hawthorn is going to win. And I think they're going to do it pretty comfortably. I don't know if we're doing like actual margins for this game, but
can't do it on the website, so we won't do it here.
Absolutely. I think Hawthorn is going to beat Sydney by pretty comfortable margin.
I think Sydney. I think under the Dean Cox regime, and at home too. I'm the opposite with Hawthorn. I think they'll start similar to last year, a bit slow. It won't be blowouts or anything. They'll get their wins they need to. But I think they're an intriguing proposition and one to very much watch. I saw Fox Footy put out their ladder predictor today and had Hawthorn on top, and then like I think Collingwood, Carlton, and Port Adelaide were all missing and stuff like that. And I was looking at it going, how are you guys broadcasters?
It's interesting. It's an interesting thing for them to do.
Anyway, fair play, each to their own. I have Adelaide 11th, so. The next one's the game that we're anticipated to play in the wet, and this might be very fun to watch because Wet and Wild is coming to people first.
Just down the road. They're only 30 minutes away. They may as well play it there.
So who's getting on the slippery dip and not winning this one?
I think this is my theory again, is that Gold Coast are getting hyped up, and every time they get hyped up, they manage to do another thing that just sinks everyone's expectations. And Essendon do the complete opposite in that they start season so well and get all their fans' hopes and excitement and dreams so high. It's not happening. Essendon is going to win. Gold Coast is going to lose, and it's going to be an oh shit. We're in trouble.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like this. We're going opposites here. I'm tipping the Suns.
Yep.
Don't lose at home. Opening round. This hype, the recruits. I think Damien Hardwick and they're actually pretty good at starting seasons, Gold Coast. You know, we've seen them do things at the start of the year. So I'm very intrigued to see this. That one for me is my most intriguing game, if I'm honest. The other two, I'm like, all right, if Geelong beat Brisbane, fair play.
Fair enough. They're probably both top 4 sides, probably. Like
Exactly. Same as Hawthorn Sydney. Hawthorn going up there's probably a bigger win if they get it done at the SCG, but also it's like either way. This one is the one that you go, right, Gold Coast, you know, they bet the Tigers last year in opening round by like 60 or 70 points, and we all sat here went, far out.
Didn't realise how bad Richmond was going to be, though.
Yeah, well, that too.
that ended up being the key thing that people couldn't quite understand at the time, was that Richmond ended up being real bad.
Yeah, but also Richmond didn't have 18 new kids to come to the team last year, did they? So watch out, Tiger Army, here we come. Rawr. Anyway, last one is the Giants and the Pies at NG Stadium, which is going to have about 8,000 people in it, probably. And all of them Pies fans.
I was going to say most of them Collingwood fans, probably. This is, I say that I'm tipping another away team, but there's probably going to be more Collingwood fans here than Giants fans. So I believe the hype on Collingwood. I think they're going to be really good. Like you spoke about before, Harry Perryman, I think, slots into that team so well. Like, that's such a good addition for them. Obviously, Houston, as we know, Dacos doing Dacos things. I think Collingwood's going to win.
I'm the same as you. I think I'm not overly hyped about the Giants. I think their straight sets exit is going to hurt them a lot more. And I think Adam Kingsley hasn't really had that moment as a new coach to sort of take a back step. I'm not saying they'll bottom out, but they'll take that 9th, 10th place and then come back next year. That's my prediction for them this year. So I don't see them winning this one like they did last year. I think it's going to be a bit of a redemption arc. And yeah, the Pies will win for me, and hope they get banged up, ready for a proper hit out against Port. It's funny, eh? And not a lot of people, I don't think, will know this outside of South Australia. Port are intentionally having an internal trial on this weekend, on Friday. It's not just to combat, fitness and having a week off like other teams will be. And I'm sure other teams are having like match simulation and training as per normal. Port Adelaide are having a fully fledged umpired AFL internal trial at Alberton to combat them playing against Collingwood the week after, who are playing for opening round. So few little fuckers get injured.
Swear to God.
We'll see if it works. But it's going to be a very intriguing round, Jared Thomas.
Absolutely. I'm very excited. I also remember this thing, and I was meant to actually mention it in the Gold Coast Essendon one, but I brought this up to you right before we before we started this recording. This thing that I saw today, and I kind of want this to be like a running thing. If I see a thing during the week, I don't want to force it, but if I see a thing during the week, I think it's fun to mention it. So I'm going to call it the worst take of the week, and it's a thing that I look at and I go, that is fucking dreadful. That's a bad thing to say, right? And this one comes from Essendon superstar Matthew Lloyd, who today, after one singular practice match, could Isaac Kako be the best small forward at Essendon since Darren Buick? That's over 25, 30 years. There has been one singular practice match that this team has played. And Matthew Lloyd has immediately gone out and said, could this be the best small forward in 25, 30 years at Essendon? Now, I'll admit they haven't had a lot of good small forwards in that time, but that is a fucking ludicrous thing to say.
I reckon it'd be very good, but
no judgment at all, right? Probably going to be a good player, but that is a fucking insane thing to say after one practice match. Not even round one. Not even one game of competitive, fully fledged AFL football.
So he's just completely disregarded Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody, and just gone, let's go, Isaac Kako.
So funny. I just think it's really funny.
Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody made a comeback.
Yeah. He was there twice.
Good times.
I'm not saying that Kako is going to be bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying I understand like trying to say things to get like headlines and stuff. That is egregious. That is an egregious thing to say after a practice match.
You know what? That's a great thing because we see so many things come out from the media and everything like that. And look, we say some ludicrous shit here too, and we're not gonna take it personally.
No.
But if you're judging something on a practice game or an Amy community series, then yeah, Matthew Lloyd might want to take a step back from a few shows. Tell you what, there's a lot of actually. There is one other thing that I wanted to bring up before we finish. Now, you speak of worst takes. I want to see what people think about the broadcasting with Fox Footy and Channel 7. I'm not talking about, and I don't want to hear to be whinging about, there's no free-to-air footy on Saturdays or, the broadcasting of times and fixtures. And look, we can't change it. Let it be. But Channel 7 and Fox Footy, it is a new year of the broadcast deal. So if you guys don't come up with some new fresh graphics for us to be excited about come opening round and the showcasing of football on your broadcasting, then I'm going to be bitterly disappointed.
Yeah.
And if, so help me God, you put anything that's ugly or terrible, I will fly over there. I will access your system, not know the login, request help, and then probably just sit the rest out. But the intention will be there to let you know that is, yeah. So all the best. Hopefully you got some new graphics. I did see the opening to AFL 360 and the new graphic they were showing for like Thursday night football, and I was like, oh, I'm a bit excited. But if they don't change anything and it's a new broadcast deal, then what are you doing? Where's all the money gone?
What's even the point? I saw a thing that said they might be doing the scoreboard like down the bottom, and I'm like, that is what I want to see. Give me something new. Give me something fresh.
Yeah, I think scoreboard at the bottom works a lot better.
I just want to see what it looks like, instead of the one in the corner. I want to see like the little one down the bottom and see what it looks like.
Do you reckon they adopt something like the NRL and they have like the logos and everything?
That was what I think they would go, like a big sort of long horizontal one, and you go bang bang, and then like I reckon that'd be pretty cool. I don't know.
Don't disappoint me.
Please,
it's the small things. We're not going to dive into your finer details about what you can broadcast and what you can't, when you're doing it, and what games you're doing. No, I don't give a shit about that. I want to see what it actually looks like.
Yep.
Give me color. Anyway, that's basically my little final spray. That and KO, fix your fucking shit.
Bad service all round.
Yes. I agree. Hope you're enjoying my $40 a month. Anyway, I guess that's about it.
That's about it for the show, everybody. New format, new template, new way of going about it. Having fun.
I'm glad we're back.
Footy is back and we are back. And that is an insane thing to think about because it feels like 2 weeks ago we were like, see everybody, footy's just done. We're out of here.
I feel like I just took off the suit jacket.
Oh, man.
It's been a pleasure, JT. As always, good to have you back again. We're obviously doing this together. New everything this year, fresh start, and it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. It's been a pleasure to join you once again and to be able to do this, and we're back at it, and can't wait to enjoy some footy with everyone and talk about probably umpires in 2 weeks. That'll probably be what we do. It'll be next week. We'll be like, how good is to have footy back? And then right after round 1, when all the teams are playing again, it'll be, man, those umpires suck.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Our smiles are so big, and then all of a sudden it's like you look at the Rock and you go,